Well, hello, slingers. Welcome back to another week of the Word Slinger podcast. And lucky you, this week, you're getting a solo slinger episode. It's just going to be me and you this time around. So I literally have no idea what's about to come out of my mouth. So stick around and find out with me. See you on the other side.
It's the Word Slinger podcast, where story matters. Build your brand, write your book, redefine who you are. It's all about the story here. What's yours? Now, here's the guy who invented pants optional, Kevin Tomlinson, the Word Slinger.
Word Slinger.
This segment of the Word Slinger podcast is being brought to you by me. Now, if you'd like to support me and my work, this podcast, whatever else I'm doing, you can do that best by going and buying one of my books or a whole bunch of my books. Go to kevintomlinson.com/books, where you'll find an entire library of things waiting for you to discover. Go find your next new favorite read, and you'll be helping me out, which means I can continue to help you out. Well, I am Kevin Tomlinson, the Word Slinger. Happy to have you here. Thanks for tuning in. And, no guests this week. I had opportunities to have guests, but I'm going to confess something to you. I'm kind of tapering off on bringing on a lot of guests. I still want to interview people. There are a lot of people I want to bring on, and I'm having a conversation via text message with somebody that a very good friend of mine, long-term friend of mine, who works in the film and TV, like mostly in anime. He does voice work. He's been on the show before. I'd like to get him back on, and I think he's interested. I don't know if you've noticed, the episodes I've been doing have been more relaxed, less, and for those of you who tune in trying to glean some sort of how-to step-by-step process for things, I apologize if you're not getting enough of that. What I'm trying to do, I have a whole mission statement, which is to inform and inspire, educate and entertain. Those are the principles of it. And so I've done a lot of informing and educating over the years. So I'm trying to do more inspiring and entertaining. trying to kind of balance things out a little. So you'll still get that stuff. I mean, there's always something to share. But I'm hoping that you're getting something out of this. It's a little more nurturing to your soul. That's what I'm trying to do for myself. I'm going through some interesting changes in my own life and career since leaving D2D. I've gone back to full-time now, full-time writing and publishing. Would love to be making more money. But I'm pretty happy with things. I'm getting happier with things. My wife, Kara, she's gone and gotten her real estate license, and that's allowing her to kind of pursue some of her own dreams. She's got a passion and interest when it comes to real estate investment, something I'm also interested in, want to participate in. That's something I think we could discuss. Maybe this would be helpful to you, but here's the thing, like full-time. So I was full-time. I was writing and publishing full-time, making pretty good money before I started working with D2D 7 years ago. I guess 8 years ago now, getting close. But so I came on board to help them out with something. My motives for being a part of the team at that time were, I liked the company. I liked that it served my community. I was interested in knowing more about how it operated, and I was interested in connecting more with this community and the industry itself. I wanted more depth and to be able to serve, and I got all of that. So now for years, I mean, I maintained writing and publishing while I was there. Could have left at any time, really. Financially, we were pretty well off for a period there. Got to a point where I got so busy. Things got so busy there. Starting in 2020, there was a decision from above my pay grade. Things shifted a little, as you may have noticed in 2020. That was the big change year for Draft Digital. That was when they acquired Smashwords, brought on some amazing people from there. The whole flavor of the company changed at that point. But one of the marked changes for me was that I got 4 times busier. And while it was a little painful while I was watching other authors have phenomenal success during 2020 and 2021, because of the impact of the pandemic and the lockdowns, I was starting to see my numbers dwindle because I didn't have time to write and publish. And so I slowed down quite a bit. I got burnt out. And so that impacted me quite a bit. So when I decided to move on last year, the trick for me was getting my career back, really. So that's been a little bit of a struggle, but not terrible. The game has changed a lot since I started. It was a lot easier, to be frank with you, to have high level financial success as an indie author prior to 2020, prior to a lot of changes that Amazon made. But in the sort of intervening years, the whole ecosystem has changed, and a lot of people have answered the challenge of that by kind of shifting their business models. You know, Joanna Penn was on the show a few weeks back. She's shifted her focus much more towards direct sales. She's utilizing Kickstarter and special editions and all kinds of things. She is hard at work on it, and it's working out for her. And I am super excited for her. I want to try some of what she's doing, but I'm also reckoning that there's a lesson I want us to all take from this. I'm taking it. You should take it. Just because someone is doing X doesn't mean X will work for you. And it doesn't mean, even if it does work for you, that it's necessarily the path you are best suited for. I don't know that direct sales and Kickstarter and that sort of thing are best for me. I haven't really experimented enough to see. I can say that although I am fond of the idea of making more money and selling direct to my readers, it doesn't hit it doesn't hit the strategy. Well, I have goals that require me to not sell direct, and because I want my books widely available. And maybe I just drank that Kool-Aid for all these years, and it's just part of my DNA. But like Joe's books are still widely available. She's just leaning in on direct sales, and it doesn't necessarily fit what I want to do. So, not shooting it down, not poo-pooing on it. I'm just saying maybe that's not where I want to take it. So I'm still kind of experimenting. I don't want to fall into the trap, though, of trying to do the same old things over and over again. A lot of the stuff we used to do early on in this business doesn't work anymore. Even up to and including going back to exclusivity with Kindle. No, it doesn't really work anymore. I know there's plenty of people making pretty good money at it, but I don't know anybody personally at this point that is happy with that system anymore. We're starting to kind of see fall off and things like that. What I'm seeing personally with my own sales on Amazon is, there was a time where I could release a book, it would hit number 1 on the in thrillers, and it would have a halo of sales for several months, and I could ride that one book if I wanted to. But then, because I was releasing subsequent books, usually once a month in that time, I had a real cascade of, sales going, discoverability going. All that's changed, man. I just released my book, Forgotten Rune, just released last month, I think. The time has just escaped my brain. I have no idea what day it is right now. But I released Forgotten Rune, and it did phenomenal. But it tapered off really quick. I mean, I used to be able to count on, like, whatever my first month numbers were, I could count on those numbers for at least 3 months. And now those first month numbers are, first of all, about half of what they were. And second month numbers are about half of that. And month 3, we will see. So not as strong as it used to be. Now that's just Amazon, and I've got sales on other platforms. Not a lot, frankly. It's hard to get traction on some of these other platforms like Apple or whatever, mostly because of the way they do business. But, frank talk here. I mean, now selling direct would potentially make me more money. But I'd lose the discoverability that comes from higher sales on those platforms. So I don't know yet. I'm watching Jo, because she just did this Kickstarter selling a special edition version of her book, Spear of Destiny. I backed the Kickstarter. Her book comes out, I believe, in September. I think that's when the pre-order is set. I'm kind of watching that to see what happens with it. But anyway, this show is actually no longer fully about just indie publishing. You probably have realized that by now. But since that is kind of my bread and butter and my primary thing, I'm probably going to still talk about it quite a bit. So if you have questions, if there's things you would like me to answer or delve into, feel free to leave it. And the best way, honestly, is to go on, if you're not watching this on YouTube already, go and find the Word Slinger podcast YouTube channel and find this episode and leave me a comment on that. I do respond to those. Since shifting I was originally posting all of these episodes on my personal channel. And so I was starting to kind of gain a little traction there. And since shifting it over to its own YouTube channel, the growth has slowed. So, but it's still going up. So that's good. So do me a favor, and there'll probably be a little graphic that pops up at some point in this video. But like and share and all that, comment. When you do that stuff, it helps YouTube to give me a little algorithm love, and that helps keep things going. In terms of what I have planned, so this show, really not sure what I want to do. I know I'm shifting things a little. I hope it's still something that you enjoy. I hope you still, tune in because you enjoy the show. And if you do, I mean, if I can start to see numbers and things like that go up, that's going to encourage a lot. And I'll learn from you what it is you like. So, leave comments, share, do all that. That helps. So, in terms of my writing, I'm knocking out right now. I'm working on another Alex Kane book, hoping to release that soonish. I've got another book that I'm doing I'm co-authoring with someone. I'm not ready to spill details about that yet, but that one's actually got some, actually a little bit more traditional traction, which is good. So working on that. One thing I'm kind of toying around with right now, I spent the past 2 days going through a webinar about real estate investment. Because Kara kind of sent me some links to some things. This is something I wanted to discuss. I have a tendency to sort of pour myself, entirely into like whatever it is, this one thing. So at Draft to Digital, I gave Draft to Digital priority, and my own writing career kind of suffered because of it. No fault of D2D. They didn't ask me to do any of that, but it was, I have this sort of sense of loyalty and service, and I think sort of overdid it. should have probably held back a little and prioritized my own stuff. So let that be a lesson to you. Prioritize the thing that you have the most control over, because if the other thing, the other source of income or whatever, falls through somehow, either you leave or they make you leave, you'll still have that thing that is your priority, that you've spent your energy building. Just good advice. But I'm trying to kind of shift away from that, because that idea, the whole real estate investment thing is something Kara and I've talked about since we've known each other. And it doesn't have to be like full-time work or anything. It can just be something we're doing for wealth building on the side, that might actually accommodate me with being able to bridge the gaps between book releases until things kind of level out more. So that's something we're considering. Maybe that's something, not real estate specifically, if you're not interested in that, but maybe this is a way for you to think about your own creative career, whatever that happens to be. If you're a writer, if you're publishing novels like I am, the gap between books can sometimes things can get a little thin. Maybe you're a graphic artist, or maybe you're a filmmaker or whatever. I like having concentrated time where I could work on something, but if that's all I ever do, even writing, which is something I love, like I do it every day, things can get a little, I don't know, sour, challenging. My whole livelihood depends on the writing. So if I don't do the writing, then I'm not only am I burdened with guilt and shame, but I am also suffering financially. And so, I can't take a break from my own business. And if you listen to entrepreneurs who are successful, that's one of the problems. That's one of the things that can take down a business is burnout. I pay attention to a lot of internet entrepreneurs. I have for years. People who've built businesses from the ground up. If your business is 100% dependent on you, then you are more than just a linchpin. You're a bottleneck for that business. If the business would collapse without you in it, that's a problem. So I'm working on ways to kind of mitigate that. And I'm thinking, I want to develop more passive income streams. And I think, real estate gives me that opportunity. It's also just a shift in mindset and, pace. A little something different I can do. I don't know. Let me know what you think of that. I'm also looking at other things. I'm at the moment, I'm not quite considering taking another job, but maybe if it just depends. If I take another job, it's going to be one where, hard to say. I don't want to say something that might be used against me by a future employer if I decide I want to take a job or if I need a job. But I don't. I'm going to be frank. And maybe this will bite me in the butt, but I'm not making it the priority anymore. I think that is a mistake. I think that you should not prioritize the thing that is helping someone else achieve their financial goals and their dreams over the thing that is helping you to do that. One thing I heard in these webinars this week was you can't save your way to wealth, and you can't be employed to wealth. Which is not entirely true, by the way. I mean, there were early days of Google and Facebook and things like that. Like the folks who got on board early, they were made very wealthy by their jobs, and that's starting to fade now. Just watched a story recently about Google having a problem with everyone. All these companies that were considered dream jobs are starting to lose their luster. So take that for what you will. Anyway, I feel like I've rambled on enough. This is kind of a food for thought episode and talking about career. hope you don't mind me sharing a little behind the curtain of my own career. Honestly, what I want, I want to remain writing full time, so that's what I'm going to aim to do. I like doing other things as well, but I don't want them to take priority over the writing, so they're not. We need income, so that's always going to be a challenge. Kara losing her job when she did put us in a bit of a pinch. You don't get paid in real estate until you start selling houses, and she's not there yet. So we're kind of coasting on savings and other things at the moment. But my writing income is starting to be able to contribute at an appreciative level. So that's good. Hopefully that continues. But my goal, my dream, is I definitely want to write full time. I want that freedom of time and freedom of location. I think part of me has always been fooled into thinking that's a little selfish or just vapor, dreaming. But I'm starting to realize, no, that is actually it's not just a goal, it's a necessity. If you're looking at the world right now, I mean, look at what's happened. California passed that $20 minimum wage law for restaurants, and you are real time watching a collapse of the entire California economy because of that. If you watch closely, pardon me for clearing my throat in your ear. If you're watching closely, the smaller restaurants are absolutely shutting down. Bigger restaurants are starting to shut down, not just in California though. Like, look at what's happened with Red Lobster, Hooters. I just saw a story where they shut down their Wichita Falls restaurant just randomly. One of dozens or hundreds of, I don't know how many. One of several Hooters restaurants that closed down in underperforming markets, they said, with no notice to the staff. They showed up and didn't have a job. What's interesting is to listen to what the former employees say. Things like, they require a 2-week notice for you to leave your job, but they have no problem giving you 0 notice to end your job. There is an awakening for you. That's a reality check for you. I remember back in my engineering days having that exact conversation where they asked if I was going to come in and work all weekend on some mandatory overtime thing because they were pressed. And I said, "Oh no, I've got other plans. It's not enough notice for me to be able to do that." And I was told that, notice is irrelevant. This is mandatory. Show up or don't have a job. And I remember saying, I have to give you two weeks notice to take a vacation day. You can't give me 48 hours notice, or more, when you want me to work a weekend when I've already got things planned. I guess you're going to have to fire me. I left that job not too long after that, was not fired, but entered an entirely different career after that. I think that's what it's going to take. There's this whole thing about the Great Resignation, and I know that's gotten kind of a bad rap. I'm going to tell you straight up. I know I said I was winding things up, and here I go again. But I have to tell you, I used to really like Dave Ramsey, but after seeing some of his comments and his complete lack of empathy toward these employees, and this blanket assumption that the reason people are leaving jobs is that they just don't want to work, I think we're just tired of being crapped on by jobs. I say we. I haven't been crapped on by a job in quite a while, but I think people are just tired of settling and having to do work they don't really enjoy for people that don't care about them at all. I think that the Great Resignation is more of a message to to industry that it's time to shape up. And if you don't like it, they'll take their talent elsewhere. And there's starting to be more and more people. Those dream jobs like Google and Facebook, et cetera, they're no longer dream jobs. I remember hearing in one of those stories, because Google's been laying people off. And someone's made the comment that like Google's like every other company all of a sudden. And I'm like, Google was always like every other company. They just in their time of great prosperity where they could do no wrong and could not slip or fall, they made all the rules. That it's a sort of buyer's market, seller's market kind of thing. When you are running hot, you get to make the rules. Well, I think we are getting into an era where the employee is running hot. And I think if you are smart, whatever it is you're trying to do with your career, if you want to be a writer, I mean, fantastic. If you want to be, whatever it is you want to do, I think where we are now is find the thing that you can own as your career and put all of your best energy into that. And whatever is left over, you can put into your day job if you have to. But don't fall for this crap anymore that you need to be loyal to an employer. You don't. There is no loyalty toward you. Why give someone something that they are unwilling to reciprocate? So unless they want to sign a contract with you that says, we guarantee you will have a job, and if we ever do need to let you go, we will give you 3 months notice, a month's notice, whatever. Something more than just a quick 2 weeks, but at minimum 2 weeks, plus some kind of severance, some kind of assistance, something. The employers need to be on the hook here. It's just the truth. If they want good, high quality talent, they need to make better investments in, and they need to care. And if they don't, you don't owe them a damn thing. So anyway, all right. Went off on a tangent and tirade there. Hope you found this episode of Wordslinger podcast interesting and intriguing. You may disagree with my point of view on certain things, and that's cool. So let me know in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit the little bell notification thing so that you will be notified when new episodes release. If you're listening to this on a podcast, thank you for tuning in. Frankly, I'm kind of trying to push everybody to YouTube now. It's just better for me. I mean, I can get paid. There's things I can do. So if you don't mind, go over, even if you prefer listening on the podcast app of choice, go over to YouTube and find the channel and subscribe there, because it's going to help me a lot. And also, frankly, I think if you're using YouTube Music, I believe, because I have this set up as a podcast on YouTube, I think you can just listen to the audio on the YouTube Music app. But I'll keep posting it everywhere too. So, anyway, thank you for tuning in. Hope you have a wonderful weekend ahead. God bless each of you, and I'll see you all next time.
Word Slinger.